report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole. When you tune in to the fish report, hanging at the fish report, hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head Left tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. And back in our sound room, we've got TK and Heavy D going to be joining them just a little bit later in the show. Ken, it's Thanksgiving week. We're thankful for a lot of things, including these new shirts we got here from NK Telco, our partners over there. Appreciate that. Also, high school girls basketball tips off this weekend. We're thankful for that as well, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Craig. It's always nice when we get the round balls out and put them to the hardwood floor and start watching some hoops action, Craig. We're going to start off with girls basketball this weekend. A couple big games on tap, including our Russia Raiders Friday night as they host the Sydney Yellow Jackets. And then Saturday, they travel to Bradford for their first road game of the year, Craig. And we'll really be looking forward to talking to the Bradford head coach, Pat McKee. Craig, he's coming off the most successful season in Bradford history of girls basketball, as well as heading up north, Craig, and talking to the newest of Shelby County League coaches in the girls' league, and that's Mike Maurer from the Botkins Trojans.
All right, well, can't wait to get to all that. But before we do, just like we do every week, we have a weekly trivia question. And I believe you asked me a football question a week ago or a couple weeks ago, but I want a basketball question tonight.
All right, I'll go to basketball, Craig. It's that time of season, even though we got some MAC schools still playing football. We'll get to that later. But basketball question, Craig, I just mentioned Bradford girls had their best season ever, Craig, in high school basketball. Last year, they finished as district runner-up. Who defeated the Railroaders in the tournament last year in the district championship game? Was it Southeastern, Tri-Village, Fort Loramie, or Troy Christian?
Southeastern, Tri-Village, Fort Loramie, or Troy Christian.
Those are your choices.
I think I got a pretty good idea what the answer to this one is. I certainly remember that game last year, but we're going to see what the viewers know. So if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, just scroll down, answer the trivia question there, and you can check your results. If you're watching us on NK Telco, Cable TV Channel 3, we will have that answer for you at the end of the show. All right, Ken, well, let's get things started. And last week, we were talking about the Shelby County Athletic League. We kind of recapped what happened there last season. Tonight, we're going to talk about our neighbors over in the Cross County Conference, and let's recap what happened over there last year.
Well, Craig, last year Miami East was the top team in the CCC. They actually had a very good year. They finished 23-2, made it to the regionals in D3, eventually got beat by Versailles. Arcanum finished second in the league, Tri-Village third, and Bradford, again, had a successful season with 20 wins last year, finishing fourth. So the CCC always very competitive, very top-heavy, in my opinion, in girls basketball. I think the top 3 or 4 teams in that league are very worthy opponents. Unfortunately, the bottom teams in that league sometimes can be extremely on the weak end.
All right, well, that was last year. Let's move forward to this year and talk about maybe players to watch in the CCC. Ken, let's pick one player that we think is going to make an impact as the season starts. I'm going to get started, and I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with a girl by the name of Alexis Abner, Ken. She is a senior point guard over there at Arcanum. She is my preseason pick for Player of the Year in the CCC. She was first team all-conference last year, averaged about 14 points per game, a star volleyball player this past fall, and we just saw the record last year at 19-5. Guess what? They only lost one starter, Ken. She's going to lead them on the floor. It will be the key to their success.
Well, Craig, you're going with Alexis. I'm going to go with Cassidy Kane, the senior from Covington, Craig. They also only lost one senior from last year's team. She was also a first-team All-CCC member, Craig. She was also on the all-tournament team at the Piqua Holiday Tournament. I look for her and her running mate, Jessie Crow, to lead the Covington Buccaneers to a very successful season, and Cassidy Kane to be the Player of the Year in the CCC.
All right, well, that's 2 players to watch then. We'll have to keep our eyes on them. We know Arcanum and Covington ought to have big seasons. One team, though, that had a big season last year, Ken, was the Bradford Lady Railroaders. They were a big question mark this year, though, because they lost 5 seniors. They opened the season this Saturday, like you said earlier, hosting our Russia Raiders, and we're going to get a chance to see them. We actually got a chance of stopping at the school earlier this week and talk to head coach Patrick McKee and 2 of his seniors. Let's check out the video and see what they had to say. Fish Report Live here in Bradford with head girls basketball coach Patrick McKee. And, Coach, you're coming off a record-breaking 20-win season. First thing I want to ask is, have the expectations changed at all from the beginning of last season to now?
No, they haven't changed, and if anything, I think they went higher. Yeah, we do lose 5 really good seniors, but at the same point, these girls got a little taste of success, and they also realize the hard work it takes to get there. In this year's group, they're really working hard for us. We got some new shining faces that are going to step up, and we want to get at least back to where we were last year, if not better.
Okay, you mentioned losing 5 seniors. You got a couple back in Brooke Brower and Gabby Fair. What are those girls capable of doing?
Brooke and Gabby have been on the varsity team. This is now their 3rd year in a row with me, and they've kind of had some different roles. This year, both of their roles are going to change both on and off the court. Instantly, they become our vocal leaders as the seniors of the team. But also, I think, Brooke and Gabby can both play a little bit of different positions on the court and do some scoring. Gabby's always been the rebounder, but she'll do some scoring. Brooke's also going to guard at some different positions, so you're going to see them do a lot of different things for us.
You have a sophomore back in Mandy Bates. What are your expectations for her?
The sky's the limit for Mandy Bates, and I cannot wait till the day that she realizes this, because she could be one heck of a ball player. She puts in a lot of work in the gym in the off season. Now if we can just kind of get everyone to gel together, it's going to be one heck of a season. All
right, and you mentioned some fresh faces or some young talent that you have. Who else is capable of making an impact on varsity?
Some girls that you'll see right away is Kelly Moore and Kenzie Weldy. Both are juniors this year, first time on varsity. They played a little bit last year with us in the tournament run, but they're going to step up and take on a huge role both as starters this year, and they're really expected to do big things. And I think another name you'll hear a lot is Tori Smith. Tori's not going to be the girl that scores a lot. Tori knows where to be defensively, though, and she'll get some steals, and she'll do a lot of good things for us.
All right, you mentioned that tournament run. Last year you won the first ever sectional title in school history. Do you talk about expectations like that this early in the season?
We just try to take it one game at a time. But I think at the same point, everyone has in the back of their mind how much fun last year was for both coaches and players, and also a community. And I think everyone kind of wants to get back there. And I think we have the talent. If we can gel together and play really solid defense, I think we have the talent to be able to get back there.
All right, last question, Coach. I know you were impressed with the fan support last year from this community. You opened the season Saturday night hosting Russia. What are you hoping from your fans on Saturday?
I hope for exactly what we had against Fort Loramie and Southeastern. Those 2 games, we filled the gym with orange. It kind of, as a coach, it kind of makes your heart drop for a second when you see that in a community like this. But, they've always been behind us no matter what we do. And little ways or in big ways like that. We're just hoping that everyone comes out and supports us this Saturday night and takes a look at the new team and see what we can do on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Coach. We're here now with senior Gabby Fair. Gabby, how will your experience from last year help you out this season?
This year I'm the only returning starter, so it helps me be a leader out on the court with the younger girls.
We're here now with senior Brooke Brower. Brooke, tell me how your role in this team has changed from last year to this year.
Last year I was a post and only a post. This year I'm a guard and a post, more centered toward a guard. Last year we lost 5 seniors, 4 out of the 5 were guards, so we needed somebody to step up and be a guard.
All right, Ken, Coach McKee was actually kind enough to allow us to watch about a half hour of his practice, and I'll give him a lot of credit. They were very physical out there. I just wonder if their success from last season is going to carry them this year.
Well, Craig, I'm sure the emotion of the success will carry over. I just don't know if the wins will. Because, when you lose 4 starters, only bring 1 in back, and, it's going to be tough for Bradford. It'll take them a little while to get things rolling, but I look for Coach McKee to do a good job, bring the team together, and they'll definitely get better as the season goes on.
All right, well, we'll get a chance to watch them on Saturday night, and we'll certainly find out what they bring back. All right, that's going to do it for our first half of the show, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to be talking some SCAL girls basketball after the break. And as we go to commercial, Ken, we got the exclusive release of some new music tonight. Rushi's own singer-songwriter, Mark Cantwell, is his title track to his new CD. It's coming out in January. This is a song called Digging on You. Enjoy this, and we'll be right back.
Well, I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to do? You got me acting a fool. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to do? You got me black and blue. I'm digging on you. I've been watching from my window, and I just can't get my eyes off of you, girl. You don't know me, you don't black and blue. I'm taking on you. Well, I'm hypnotized by every expression in the way you run your fingers through your hair. Would you find us romantic? Oh, a little bit frightening to know that you are never, ever alone. Well, I'm taking on you. I'm taking on you. Last poor one too. You got me acting a fool. I'm taking on you. I'm taking on you. I'm taking on you. Last poor one too. You got me black and blue. I'm taking on you.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And Ken, what'd you think of Mark Cantwell's new song there?
Well, Craig, he's ready for the big release in the middle of January over at BMI Carts in Versailles, and if all the other songs are as good as that one, he should be successful.
All right, well, I think that CD release party is going to be January 17th. I'll post something about that on the website when we have more information on that, but looking forward to that. All right, Ken, well, let's get back and start talking some basketball again. We were talking about the CCC before the break. We're now going to talk about the SCAL, or the Shelby County Athletic League, and let's jump over and talk about that a little bit.
Well, Craig, last week we broke the league down. We kind of discussed a lot of the teams. We talked to some Russia players. We talked to Russia coach Tim Hatcher. And as we mentioned last week, Craig, I really think the league this year is probably more balanced than it's been the last several years. The last several years, we've seen Anna and Lormy really dominate the league, either going 12-0, maybe splitting the game in the regular season 11-1. But this year, Craig, I think there's 4 or 5 teams, honestly, that could beat anybody on a given night. Whether you throw Russia or Lormy or Anna or Houston or even Jackson Center in the mix, I really think those teams are capable of beating one another. But one team we're really looking forward to talking and seeing this year is the Botkins Trojans.
Yeah, we didn't talk about them much last year, Ken, and they got a lot of room for improvement this season, but they're under new leadership this year with head coach Mike Maurer over there. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach Maurer, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy your show.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, congrats on the new job over there at Botkins. I know a lot of our listeners outside of Botkins, though, might not know a whole lot about you, so fill us in a little. Where did you come from, and what's your background in coaching?
Well, I'm born and raised here in Botkins. I graduated in 1994, and then I currently teach over at Indian Lake, but I stay active here. My wife's from Botkins. My kids go to school here, and got involved in the basketball program up here, and spent the last 3 years as a JV coach for the girls, and got some experience coaching junior high over at Indian Lake before that. So
All right.
that's my background.
All right. Well, I just mentioned that there's a lot of room for improvement there. Are you the kind of coach that sets early season goals, or what are you hoping to accomplish this season?
Well, you always want to win more games than the year before. That's always a goal you have. But for our team, the big goal for us is just to be a better team each and every day. Get a little better every day. I'm a big John Wooden fan, and he always believed if you do the little things and you do your absolute very best, the wins will come. And so we're just trying to get better every day.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Francis, and I imagine you've had a few scrimmages by now. How are things going for your team? Are you going to be a team that wants to push it up the floor? Are you going to be more of a half-court team, one that wants to pound it inside? Tell us a little bit about your preseason so far.
Our preseasons went well. The girls are working extremely hard. I really feel like each scrimmage we've gotten better, taking steps forward every scrimmage. We want to get out. We want to get the ball out and run, try to get some easy baskets, but we also want to be a team. If it's not there, we're going to set up. We're going to run our offense. We're going to be disciplined. Look for the good shot. We want to try to pound it inside. We got some size this year. We got some freshmen with some size. We got some sophomores with some size. So we want to try to utilize our length.
Last year, Coach, one of the leaders on your team seemed to be sophomore Kayla Huker. Like I mentioned, she's just a sophomore, junior now. How has she been playing this year, and what kind of potential and leadership do you look for from this junior guard?
Well, I tell you, Kayla's a special player. and I'm looking for big things from her this year. We're doing our best to try to get her off the point a little bit and get her out in the wing so she can use her speed. She just attacks the basket so well, and getting her out on the open floor is her key. And I'm telling you, she has been doing a tremendous job with our youth, with the freshmen and sophomores, the new faces coming in, bringing them along, getting them involved, and trying to get them as best apt to our offense as possible. So Kayla's going to be the glue that holds it all together for us this year.
Coach, you open up this weekend. Friday night you host Riverside, and then Saturday you host Parkway. So a nice way to start. You've got 2 home games right off the bat. What do you expect from your girls? What other girls do we expect to see in the box score when we read the paper Monday morning?
Well, I'm telling you what, Riverside come to town on Friday. That's a tremendous challenge for us. It's kind of nice opening up at home. We have our home floor, but what I'm really looking for the girls is, like I said, from our last scrimmage to this first game, just taking another step forward, being better than we were last week, and I think you'll see good things in the scorebook on Monday. We're really not worried about Saturday night yet. We got to get through Friday first, then we'll worry about Saturday. But some names you're going to see, our 2 seniors, Mackenzie Brown and Brooke Bornhorst. They've been tenacious in practice, working hard. They've been exceptional at our scrimmages. We've got Natalie Ambus back this year. She was supposed to be a big part of our team last year and had the knee injury early. She's back and playing very well. And our other junior, Cassidy Esser, she's doing tremendous things as well for us. So there's 5 names right there that you should expect to see game in and game out. That's doing well for us.
All right. Well, Coach, we'll certainly check that box score out, those box scores out on Monday, and see if see who's all in there. One more question, listen, and we'll let you go. I'm going to go kind of off topic here a little bit, but Ken and I, Coach, we like to talk some high school football here, but we also understand that you're a pretty good fantasy football player. I guess you play in a league over there in Botkins, and we're heading into week 14 now, so I want to ask you a question. How's your team doing this year? Give us an update.
My team is I'm 6-6. I can't complain about that, but I am 4-1 in my last 5. So my running backs are coming along, and I'm getting there. I'm not out of it completely, but I do know one thing. There is one. I hate to say this, Rushy grad that's in our league, and I have beaten him twice. So hopefully that's a sign of things inside the county. Good things for things to come for my girls' basketball as well.
All right. Well, he may very well be the one that tipped us off on that. But I got one more question to ask you about that. I heard last year your team actually got so hot at one point that you changed your team name to the Invincibles, I guess. And I guess that begs the question. I want to ask if your Botkins girls happen to get hot this season. Any chance you might change their name?
You know what? Invincible would be an awesome name to have. But you know what? If we get that hot, I think when people hear the word Trojan, I think they're going to think the word Invincible, and it'll kind of go hand in hand with one another. So hopefully, things will come that maybe we'll get there, and that would be wonderful for the girls.
Well, Coach, good luck to you this season. I know, being your first year as a head varsity basketball coach, you face a very challenging schedule, but I'm sure you'll fight through it. You'll do very well, and good luck to you guys over there or your ladies over in Botkins.
Hey, that's much appreciated. We appreciate everything, and thank you so much for having us on the show, and hope to hear from you guys again.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right. That was the head coach of the Botkins Trojans, Mike Maurer, and haven't met the guy yet, but looking forward to it, Ken.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll meet him, Craig, especially when he brings his team over to Rushy, and really looking forward to meeting him as well, and I'm sure he'll do very well with that Trojan girl basketball team.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for our basketball talk tonight. I do want to go back to the sound room, though, check in with the guys back there and see if they have any news notes in the wide world of sports. Guys, what do you got?
Yeah, there are other sports, as was mentioned earlier in the show. There still is football going on, and lo and behold, 3 teams from the MAC conference are still playing football as we head into the semifinals. So that all starts off this Friday night. D6 action has Minster taking on the Rams from Defiance Tenora. That is at Wapak. That should be a good game. This is a 9th appearance for the Rams from Tenora. Saturday night, we've got the D5 game between Coldwater. They're taking on the Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy Eagles. Also should be another very good matchup right there.
If I'm not mistaken, if I can interrupt you just a second, I'm pretty sure that's the same team they beat for the state championship in baseball.
Is that right?
Yep. Interesting fact. Go ahead. Sorry, TK.
Well, this is the Eagles, I think, 9th time into the tournament, so they're also somewhat veterans in the football tournament as well. And then lastly, for the locals, that is, we've got the perennial powerhouse Marion Local Flyers out of the D7, and they are taking on Columbus Grove Bulldogs. The Bulldogs got hot at the end of the season, now 9-4 and in the semifinals. Not sure if they're going to be hot enough, but this is the 11th tournament appearance for those Bulldogs, so we'll see what happens there at Lima Stadium. And then if you're not a big fan of the MAC, but you still want to watch some football, you can go up to Sydney, where they have rehabbed that stadium and will have their first state semifinal game. That will be Kenton High School against Kettering Archbishop Alter. So that is, again, Saturday night, did I say?
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, that will be a very good game. So a little bit closer and a nice new stadium over there to go watch some football.
Yeah, I know they're awful proud over there in Sydney of being able to host that first ever state semi game. And one more news note on that Marion Local game, TK. I'm reading here where Marion Local's outscored its 3 playoff opponents by a combined score of this season of 124-7.
Ouch.
It's I guess they've actually won 35 games in a row, and they're looking for their 4th consecutive state title.
They got something going right over there, and I think it's going to take quite a team to defeat the Flyers again this year.
I agree. Heavy D, let's go over to you. How about you? Any news notes?
Well, I know you ran it on the Fish Report website this week, and I saw it tonight in the Sydney Daily News, but it's worth repeating. Rushie's own Katie Borchers finished 34th this past weekend over at Terre Haute in the NCAA D1 National Cross Country Championship and earned herself a 2nd consecutive All-American honors for the Buckeyes. And not only is she the only woman to ever win an All-American status for the Buckeyes, but she's done it 2 years in a row, and we're awfully proud of her. Good job, Katie.
Pretty impressive right there, Craig. We've seen her run quite often, and quite the runner, isn't she?
Yeah, I actually had a chance to go over there to Terre Haute and watch that race, and it's pretty awesome. It's special to be there. And Ken, I know you spent a lot of years watching her run in high school as well as college.
Yep, I've been very familiar with Katie, running clear back into the elementary days. So it's good to see her succeed. Couldn't happen to a better person.
Yeah, we've actually had her on this program before as well, and she's not quite finished yet. She still has a track season this spring yet left for the Buckeyes.
Yes, she does. Actually, indoor track and outdoor track. So who knows? She could get a few more All-American status before she's done.
All right, well, that's about going to wrap it up for us tonight. Ken, do have one more thing to get to, and that is that trivia question you asked at the beginning of the night. Why don't you give it to me again? I'll have the guys back in the sound room check the telemetrics out.
Well, Craig, we talked some Bradford girls basketball. Who defeated the Bradford Railroaders last year during their magical basketball season run in the district championship game? Was it Southeastern, Tri-Village, Fort Loramie, or Troy Christian?
All right, well, I remember that sectional game very well, and that's because they played Southeastern, went into 4 overtimes. Even for a person that's not a fan of either program, it was just something else to listen to and read about, and it had to be crazy to be there in the gym with them. So I know it's not Southeastern, and then I believe Tri-Village may have got beat in the tournament by Covington. So that leaves Troy Christian and Fort Loramie. Guys, let's go back to the telemetrics. What are the viewers out there saying?
It's popping off the screen. Coach Siegel and the Skins of Red from Fort Loramie.
I'm pretty confident that was part of Fort Loramie's march to the state tournament. And what do you say, Ken? Fort Loramie?
You got it right, Craig. That's right. The Fort Loramie Redskins ended the dream season with the Railroaders last year, but quite an honor for Bradford to get that far last year and to take on the Redskins in their storied program.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight, Ken. That's going to do it for our girls basketball talk. I think next week we're going to be talking some boys basketball because the boys tip off the following weekend, right?
Yes, they do, Craig. Really looking forward to that. I'll tell you what, there is just a plethora of good high school Division IV basketball teams in this area, Craig. Tons of good seniors. It's so many of these seniors that are playing this year have been playing varsity basketball since they were freshmen and sophomores. This year is just going to be really exciting. You've got 6 or 8 different teams who are senior dominated, who are probably 2 or 3 year lettermen coming back for their team, and should be quite the season in the Miami Valley.
All right, can't wait to talk about that next week, and that's going to do it for us, folks. Do want to say special thanks to Coach Patrick McKee and his 2 seniors over there at Bradford for joining us on the shows tonight, as well as Botkins coach Mike Maurer. Ken and I and the crew are all going to be back again next week, same time, actually 9 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, but same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging